Hello, Deborah. This is Susan. I'm glad you made it back. I saw you signed in earlier, and I apologize about having to change the time. I did send you an email earlier in the week that I was changing it, but maybe you didn't get it. So anyway, I'm glad you're here. I'll wait just a minute yet and see if we have a couple more people I'm expecting. Deborah, would you go ahead and type in the chat whether you can hear me, just so I can make sure everything's working? And I'm assuming you can see me on screen. With this webinar jam system, there's a delay. There's a delay from when I say something and you hear it, and then when you type the chat, it's about 20 seconds before I see it. So it's a little strange. Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to keep those of you that are here waiting any longer. So I'll just have a moment of silence here and we'll get the recording started. Let me see. Oh, it looks like it's already going. So then all I have to do is bring up my slides. Good afternoon and welcome to the Hangout. My name is Susan Joy Schlief, and today we're going to talk about how to make a YouTube video work harder for you. If you're going to go to all the work of creating videos, you might as well get the most out of them that you can. So let me bring up my slides and we'll get started. So my first question for you is, do you have a YouTube channel? Go ahead and type that in the chat. And if you're watching the recording later, you can still type it in the chat if you want. If you're here live this afternoon, please do use the chat window. Oh, I had trouble with this the other day too. When I click on the chat area and then go back to my slides, it doesn't want to advance. Hold on one second. I'll have to stop sharing for a minute and then restart it. Okay. Second question, how old is your YouTube channel? How long have you had it? And then, does it have channel art? Or do you still have the default gray triangles up at the top of your channel? And how many videos do you have? And final question, what's the largest number of views that you have on any of your videos? If you know, approximately. Well, part of what we're going to talk about today is going to change some of those answers, hopefully. So here's our agenda for this Hangout. I'm going to teach you 7 secrets to make your videos work harder for you. And it's probably more than seven secrets. What I did was divide it up into 7 categories, and some of those categories have more than one secret in them. So there's our rainbow of secrets that we're going to be looking at today. And at the end of that rainbow, I have a golden offer for you, but that will just be the last 5 minutes or so of the Hangout. And until then, I'm going to share lots of great, valuable content with you, and hopefully you'll find it very helpful. I know the people who watched Thursday night said that they thought they were great tips, and they were definitely going to put some of them into practice. So I hope that's true for you as well. Just briefly, in case some of you don't know too much about me, my name is Susan Joy Schlief. I started a business 2 years ago online offering presentation design services to people who were delivering either live presentations or webinars. But it's rather a big ticket item to create a 45-minute presentation for someone and to help them get the message really clear and to coach them through the delivery of it. And I wasn't finding a lot of takers, so this past year I started reevaluating, and people had asked me from the beginning, when I would say I do presentations, they would say, do you do videos as well? And I kept saying, Well, I do a little bit for myself, but that's not really my area of expertise. And about 6 months ago, I was talking with my business coach, and I said, I don't know why I keep saying that. I have a lot of experience with video. Somehow I had in my mind the kind of big, splashy Hollywood production videos that you see when a speaker comes on stage at an event. And I had to stop and think, that's not everybody needs that kind of video. There are lots of other ways to do video marketing and people who need help with all different types of videos, from a simple welcome video on their web page to book trailers and video blogging and all different ways of using video that's on a much smaller scale, simpler scale. And particularly, I know a lot of people aren't really comfortable getting on camera and would like some help creating an off-camera video with software or animation or something like that. So I started refocusing my business, developed a new division in my company that I call M3 Videos, and the M3 stands for Message Media Magic. So, moving on to our first tip, we're going to talk about views. Now, it's important to remember here, we're not talking about trying to go viral. If that happens, great, but that's not our goal. But even without trying to go viral, views are still important. And here's why. For one thing, views are social proof. So when somebody goes to your YouTube channel and they see that all of your videos have about 5 views on them, they probably aren't going to be terribly impressed. But if you've got hundreds or thousands of views on your videos, it lets people know that there's some interest here in what you're doing and that it might be good for them to check it out too. Views also equal engagement. It means people have been watching your videos, they've been staying on long enough to get counted as a view, and they are interested in interacting with you. And views also are for lead generation. If you're using it correctly, YouTube can bring you traffic that you can use the videos to direct back to your website, and that's one of the things that we'll be talking about in this Hangout, is how to set that up. There are some prerequisites that you need for that. So views are important. You have to remember that YouTube is the second largest search engine. So people are going online and looking for all kinds of different things. I've been reading that the younger generation doesn't even bother searching on Google. They go right to YouTube to do their searches because they would rather watch a video answer than to read somebody's blog post or article. So what can help you to increase your views? Well, first of all, they have to find you, right? Secondly, they have to click and start watching your video. So how do you get more people to click and watch your video? Well, the most important thing in that regard is using custom thumbnails. Because when you're looking at a list of videos, that's all you have to go by is the title and the thumbnail. And the thumbnail is really what stands out the most. It's your visual image. You can choose a custom thumbnail, not just choosing between the 3 choices that YouTube gives you, but actually creating your own thumbnail. Maybe it's the best scene from the video, or maybe it's something that you create from a PowerPoint slide and you add additional information to it and you save it as a picture. You can do that any way that you like, but in order to have that choice of a custom thumbnail, you first have to be a YouTube partner. You have to activate the monetization on your account. That doesn't mean you need to run ads on your videos. You just have to sign up for the possibility of doing that, and then just don't enable the ads. Unless you want ads, but probably if you have your own business you're trying to promote, then you probably don't want other people's ads showing on your video. Next thing then, after they click to watch, because they found your thumbnail interesting, the next thing is they have to keep watching. Unfortunately, the majority of viewers, if they're not excited about what you're showing them in the first 7 seconds, they're going to stop and go watch another video. That's not very long to get people's attention. Here are some things that can help. You do need to grab your viewers' attention and interest in the first 3 to 5 seconds, really. 7 seconds is kind of the long limit of it. A lot of people are going to click away sooner than that. One important thing is don't put a long Hollywood-style intro on your videos. I know some people like to use those with all kinds of flash animation and things zooming around and loud music. First of all, people run those sometimes 30 seconds or more. Most people aren't going to stick around to watch that because they're just not that interested in your flashy introduction. They want to get to whatever it is they were searching for, the information that they were looking for. The other problem, though, with those fancy animation intros is they use up a lot of bandwidth. And so it's very likely that that's going to stall out while somebody's trying to watch it. And at that point, they're probably just going to give up and go watch another video. If they don't even want to see the intro to begin with, and then it's going to keep stalling, they certainly aren't going to wait. Another thing you can do is to tell them right up front what's in the video and who is it for. That might be just you either on camera or just your voiceover saying, "Hi, this is Susan Joy Schlief. In this video you're going to learn how to get more traffic to your YouTube videos." Or maybe it's this video is for all of you who would like to get more traffic to your website. That lets people know right away in the first few seconds whether they want to keep watching the video. Oh, and just one more thing about that. If you do that brief intro of what the video is about, then if you really want to have a little bit of a animated intro and some music, you can put that in right after that introductory sentence. Fade the music in, fade it out, but I still wouldn't do anything really fancy, and I wouldn't do more than 10 or 15 seconds before you go on with the content. Right, so the next thing you can do is to use what I call triple-decker communication. Now, what is that, you might be asking? Well, it means you're using 3 different modes of communicating your message. One is verbal, and that's either spoken or the words on the screen. Both of those are considered verbal. Your visual images, pictures, and movement or action. When you use all 3 modes of communication like that, you increase people's understanding of your message, and you also help them remember the information longer, as well as keeping their attention. the movement is particularly important for keeping attention. Just for comparison, in a television commercial, something changes about every 3 to 5 seconds. That's how they keep people watching a TV commercial. So how does your video compare to that? And again, visual images are important, but movement is really what grabs attention. We almost can't stop ourselves from looking when something moves. So the more you have motion happening on the screen, not continuously, but every 5 or 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, but I wouldn't go too much longer than that, especially in a short video. So a question for you to consider is, how can you add more movement, especially if you make talking head videos with you on the camera? It's nice to have you on the camera. People want to see you and get to know you. It helps definitely to develop trust. But you need to think about how to add movement to that, so it's not just you standing in front of the camera. Maybe you're going to use a prop that you hold up, or you might even actually be doing something with your hands and demonstrating something. You can also, in the editing phase with your video, have somebody edit so that the camera angle shifts back and forth. And this is all done in editing. You don't have to worry about it when you're recording in front of your smartphone or whatever you're using. You can do it at the editing stage to shift yourself from one side to the other, and then whichever side has more space, you can add little pictures or key words to emphasize something that you're saying, and having those things pop on and off the screen helps to create interest, as well as changing the camera angle, which is really just changing where you appear on the screen, changing that back and forth maybe every 15 seconds or so. Wherever there's a good pause in what you're saying, and then the next thing that you say, you can pop over to the other side of the screen. And again, that doesn't mean you need to do anything different when you're recording it. That can all be handled in the editing stage. So I would make a note of that question and start asking yourself, how can you create more interesting, engaging, and more moving talking head videos? So our next tip is, if YouTube is a search engine, how are you going to get your videos found by the search engine? Well, one way is by putting your keywords in the title of the video. If you use the same keyword all the time, then you have to get a little creative with the titles of your videos as you make more and more videos. But it's recommended, if you can, put the keywords at the beginning of the title. Sometimes that may be awkward, and you always want to make sure that it still reads well for a human viewer. You don't want to just create the title for the search engine spiders or bots or whatever you want to call them. You want to make it a human intelligible title. But if possible, include your keywords in the title. You also want to make sure you have your keywords in the description underneath the video on YouTube. You want to fill out as long a description as you can reasonably, giving as much information as you can about what's in that video. Sure, the average viewer might not read it, but it's there partly so that the search engine bots can tell what that video is about. So again, make sure the keywords are early in the description, and if doesn't sound too awkward, use the keywords in there a couple of times in the description. And then finally, you want to make sure your keywords are included in the tags underneath the video. And you can use, up to 10 tags, I would say, without any problem. Make sure that they are closely tied to what the video is about. You don't want to be using tags that are not really representative of the video. Then Google might get you in trouble for that. But again, the search engine bots can read the tags, and then they do manual reviews sometimes. So if they discover that you're stuffing a bunch of keywords in the tags that have nothing to do with what the video is really about, that's going to get you penalized. But definitely make use of those three: the title, the description, and the tags, to make sure you've got good keywords in there to help people find your videos. And one fourth way to help is to upload a transcript. Now, that doesn't mean that you necessarily need to go out and hire somebody to create a transcript from the audio track of your video. If you create a script ahead of time, which I highly recommend, then all you have to do is upload your script. And even if you ended up saying other things in the video that weren't part of your script, which you probably will because you're not necessarily going to just read it word for word, even if it doesn't match exactly, that's fine. At least the script that you wrote will again give the search engine bots a good idea of what that video is about, and probably pretty naturally it will have your keywords included in there, because that's what the video is about, so that's what you'll be talking about. So then the next question we have to consider: you've already gotten them to find your videos and to watch the video and to keep watching it. How do you get them to watch more of your videos rather than switching over to one of the related videos that Google brings up at the end of your video? You can't turn off that feature, the related videos, unless you're embedding the video on your own web page. Then you can. But since you want the videos on YouTube to help people find them when they're doing a search, then you have to use another way to sort of control what videos come up in the related videos at the end. Here's one way to do that. When you're putting those tags in addition to your keywords, add a tag for either your name or your business name, or both, if that makes sense. If you put those tags for your name and your business name, if you put those on all your videos, then the search engines are going to say, wow, nobody else has these keywords in their video, so I guess the ones that I need to display next is one of these that does have those same keywords in it. So by doing that, having that in all your videos, you increase the likelihood that one of your videos is going to show next in the related videos. And after all, that is partly what your video is about. It's about you and your business, right? So it makes sense to put your name in there. Another way to keep them watching more of your videos is by using playlists. If you're not familiar with playlists, I'm going to go over to my YouTube account at the end here and show you an example of one when we get finished with the slides here. But a playlist really is just a way of stringing a whole series of your videos together And then once a viewer starts watching one of the videos in that playlist, then it will bring up the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And people can click out of it if they want and go watch something else, but often they will end up watching 2 or 3 before they realize that they're in a playlist. The other advantage of using playlists, I haven't seen this for myself, but one of my mentors says he definitely has seen this happen, where when you create a playlist, the playlist itself will get ranked in Google in addition to the video getting ranked. So now you have 2 rankings showing up. So that sounds like a pretty good deal. Then the next question to consider is, how can you grow a following from the people that are watching your videos? How can you get them more engaged, get them watching more, get them commenting, get them sharing your videos, get them to help you grow your reputation and your business? Well, here are some ideas for that. One is to make sure you have a well-designed header or channel art, it's called in YouTube, for a professional look, so that your channel gets taken more seriously. If you still have the little gray box up there with the triangles, that's the default, and then your picture is in the corner, it's time to get a YouTube header in there, a YouTube channel art in there. It is a little tricky, I know, because it's an odd shape, but if you need some help with that, that's one of the things that I do, is create channel art for people. And you can find other ways to get that done too. Just do a search online and you'll find it. It's also really important to be uploading new videos on a consistent basis and then promoting those videos on social media, in your email newsletter, just even in individual emails, on your blog post, a lot of different places. You want to keep reminding people of videos that you have that are available for them to watch. And I would not just promote the new ones. You definitely want to promote the new ones, but you can also keep sending out links about your older videos as well. What I do is I have a spreadsheet with all of my content that I share on social media, not just videos, but articles and blog posts and quote graphics or memes. I have them all on a spreadsheet, and I just mark down when was the last time I shared each one, and then as I go through the list again, I update the new date. That way I can keep track of which one has not been shared recently, and I use that. So that helps me to keep track of what to post next on all the various social media channels I'm part of. One final tip for getting people more engaged and becoming fans of your videos is to put a subscribe request on the video, preferably at the end. I think that's what Google recommends, rather than interrupting them while they're watching the video. Put it at the end of the video. There are ways that you can add annotations to your video, and I'll show you again what that looks like as well when we go out and look at my YouTube channel. And you can get pretty clever with this. I've seen some people where they have like a little image that says click here to subscribe, and the little image bounces around on the screen, so it's got the movement again, and it's kind of fun. And he added one guy I know used that, and he added a little boing sound, so every time the little image bounces at the bottom, there's a noise as well. So if you're going to add something at the end after the video is over, you want to make sure that it's entertaining so people will keep watching after the official content is over. And then if they're enjoying that, they're going to be more likely to actually click on it and subscribe to your channel. Our last category then is, once you've got people enjoying your videos, how do you convert those fans to paying customers? How do you get them from your YouTube videos to your website where they can actually make a purchase? Well, again, we're going to use the annotations for that. You can add clickable links to your annotations now. This is fairly new for YouTube. I think maybe 6 months ago, maybe it was a little longer than that even. And I can't really show you how to do that in this Hangout because it's a little bit detailed, but there are instructions in YouTube for how to do that. One important thing is you do need to set up some things in your account ahead of time for that. So definitely learning about annotations and clickable links in annotations is something you want to have on your list. And one way to use those clickable buttons is, again, to have people subscribe to your YouTube channel. And you can also add a clickable link to your website. And this is what's really new. In the past, YouTube never wanted people to leave their site, but now they are letting you send people to your website. You can't send them to just any website. It has to be a website that you own. Has to be one that you own, and you have to get that associated website approved before you can add it as an annotation. And there's a process you go through for that where you have to go to the settings and you put in the website URL, and then YouTube will give you a little line of code that has to get placed on your website. If you have a webmaster that handles all that for you, all you have to do is email them that line of code and they'll know what to do with it. So those are the 7 groups of tips or secrets that I had to share with you. Let me take you over now to my channel. And I do have a few more slides after this, but we'll come back to those. Let me get my channel up here. I should have done that first, I forgot. Let's see. Almost there. Just want to get it set up before I share the screen here. All right. Let me see if I can get that to come up now. Well, maybe not. It's not showing it. Maybe we can do it this way. Nope, that's not going to work. All right, I thought I could share my YouTube channel, but that doesn't seem to be working. All right, sorry about that. So I guess we'll go back to the slides and finish that up. Okay, so we had our rainbow of secrets there that we covered. Oops. And are you ready to hear about my golden offer now that we got to the end of the rainbow? Well, let me remind you first. Some of you may have heard this statistic before. They're saying that all the data that's going around the internet, around the world, 60% of it is already in video form. It's already, to me, a huge percentage. But experts are predicting that that's going to grow in the next few years to 90%. So that there's going to be so much video online that most people aren't even going to bother reading blog posts and articles anymore. So in that kind of setting, how are you going to make sure that you don't get left behind? Well, you need to not only be using video, but you need to be using it well so that, as we just discussed, your videos are getting found, they're getting clicked on, they're getting watched. People are taking the step from there to go to your website and see what else you have to offer. So you can learn how to get started with video or how to expand and improve your video content easily and affordably. You really don't need any fancy equipment. And I'd like to help you with that with my 4-week video strategy planning and implementation group coaching. It's going to consist of 4 Google Hangout sessions. No, we're not going to talk by tin can. And in week 1, we're going to talk about clarifying your message so that you can be really clear about what it is that you want to tell people in your videos. What do they need to know in order to be interested in your products or services? And even as important as what do they need to know, also ask what do they need to feel before they are going to want to purchase your services or products. And all of that can come through your videos, but you have to be clear about what it is that you're trying to get across in those videos. You also need to be clear about your USP, your unique selling proposition, or some people like to call it your unique value proposition. What is it that makes you and your business stand out from all of your competitors? And that can be very important to emphasize in your videos as well. So the first week we'll be talking about both of those areas and some ways to help you clarify that information. And we'll talk a little bit about why that's important for your video and how that information will get used in your videos. In week 2, then, we're going to look at different types and goals of video. What might you want to accomplish with videos? What are some different ways of using video for your business? We'll also talk about different ways to create videos. Some people may like to do on camera and they want to get in front of their smartphone and record videos on a camera. Other people may not want to do that, and so they're going to look at creating PowerPoint videos or using other kind of animated software to create a video. We'll also help you kind of look at how do you make the choice of which one's going to work best for you and your business. And that's for now, you know, I mean, somebody might not feel comfortable getting on camera, but then later, after they get a little bit more comfortable with the whole idea of video, maybe they would be willing to try it. So even though you might set a strategy to begin with, it doesn't mean it's written in stone. The third week, we're going to focus on planning a storyboard and a script for your video. Now, the storyboard is much more important if you're doing a software video in PowerPoint, or one of the popular new programs lately is Video Maker FX, other different kinds of software. The whiteboard videos are very popular with the little doodle sketch. All of those need a storyboard, definitely, that takes you through what the visual is going to look like on screen. Even for your on-camera videos, it's probably a good idea to have some idea, because you're going to try to incorporate some of the movement that we talked about earlier. You want to have an idea of what you're going to do so that you don't get in front of the camera and just freeze and not remember. You start talking, but you're not moving. So you want to plan that out. You even want to rehearse it a few times before you turn the camera on. So that's the storyboard part, and then the script has to do with your narration. Now, you have the option, of course, to hire somebody to do the voiceover, but I really recommend that you do it yourself so that your audience begins to know your voice and get comfortable with you. It's part of their getting to know you. And especially if you're doing it where you're in front of the camera, then it has to be your voice, right? Some people are a little uncomfortable with the idea of a script because they think it's not going to sound natural. But a script is really just words in a sequence that have meaning. So you're using a script whether you plan it or not. And if you're just winging it, then you're going to get wing it results. So I highly recommend that you create a script. You don't have to read it word for word, but at least you have scripted out what you think is important to say. You may even script out word for word how you want to make whatever offer or invitation it is, how you want to open the video, how you want to close the video, and some idea of what you're going to say in between there, so that you have a plan for the video. And then the fourth week, we're going to be doing mostly Q&A, clearing up any problems or confusions that people may have from the earlier weeks. Hopefully by that time people will be started on their storyboard and script and may have questions about that, or you may want to share what you're doing so far during the Hangout. And we'll look at what are some of the other things that might be getting in the way of you finishing that video. And during the course of the 4 weeks, I'll be sharing other materials with you and some bonuses too, as the mood strikes me. You're going to have individual tasks to do during the week between sessions. You'll have a strategy guide to work through that has a lot of questions to help you with figuring out your message, your USP, helping you decide which type of video you want to use, which video making method you want to use. That's all written up in the strategy guide, and you can use that to go through and write down your answers and help to shape your plan. And that also includes deciding on goals. You want to think of the goals in terms of a goal for a specific video, but also your goal for your overall use of videos in your business. And during the later part, especially of that 4 weeks, you'll be starting to work on a video, either your first video if you haven't done one, or if you've already been using video, then just whatever the next one is that you're going to try and do something a little bit different than you've done in the past. You're going to have access to a private Facebook group for support. And this is going to not only help you get your questions answered as you're working on your strategy and your storyboard and your script, but it's also a great place to make some acquaintances of people that can help you. You might even find some joint venture partners there, or at least you're going to find people who you can set up kind of a mutual sharing where they'll go and like your videos and subscribe to your channel, and you can do the same for them. If you're sharing videos on Facebook, you can all share and promote each other's videos. It's really nice to have that kind of support. A couple of options that you'll have during the 4 weeks. If you would like to get your strategy reviewed, you can share that during one of the Hangouts and I'll do a review. I'm also available to do review of any existing videos that you already have on your channel. Again, I would prefer to do that in the Hangout so other people can take advantage of that as well. But if there's some reason you really can't do that, you want me to do it privately, I am willing to do that as well. I'm not going to review all of your videos, but if you want me to take a look at one or two, I can do that. And then, of course, by being in the group, you're going to get some accountability for completing, again, either that first video or whatever the next one is that you're going to work on during that training series. The Hangouts are going to be held on Thursday evenings, starting next Thursday, September 11th, and running through October 2nd. And there are the times on the screen. All of the sessions will be recorded, so if you can't make one of those weeks, you'll have access to the recording. Those recordings are going to be available indefinitely, so even after the 4 weeks is over, you'll still be able to get to them. I apologize, my neighbor's dog is just barking like crazy. I hope that's not showing up too much on the recording here. And I have some bonuses to entice you to join me in this series. One is very apropos to today's Hangout. You're going to get written instructions for setting up your YouTube channel fully with all of the settings that you need to do the custom thumbnails and the annotations and linking to your website. I'm also going to create a graphic design for your YouTube header. If you don't have that yet, I'll be happy to create one for you. Because of that unique size, it is a little tricky, like I said, but I have a software program that will shape that in just the right size, and then I'll share it with you. If you want something included in that, a logo or your picture or whatever, you can send that to me. And I'll also create a lower third graphic for you. Lower third, if you're not sure, that's the little bars or shapes that go across the bottom of the screen when somebody is on, like on a news show or an interview or something, where it'll show their name and maybe their company or the book they've written or some way to identify them. So I'll design one of those for you, and you can use it in your talking head videos if you want. That can be added again during the editing stage, or you can also use them if you're ever a guest on a Hangout. During the 4-week session, you'll also have the option of hiring me to help you with any of those things that you might not feel like you want to do on your own. If you, for instance, would like me to set up your YouTube channel, or if you want me to write the storyboard and script for you with some input from you, of course, Or if you have recorded a video and you need a part taken out and you're not familiar with how to do video editing, that is another service I provide as well. And during the 4-week session, you can get those services from me for half price. So as we go through, if you discover that you do want to take advantage of that, you can just let me know and we'll talk about how to make that happen. I have a very special price for you, only $37 to take the whole course. That's less than $10 per week, and I'm just making it a really special low price to get started here. It's the first time I'm offering this series, so you get to be one of the founders and get in at that very low price. And I'm also going to throw in the option to repeat the class as many times as you want for the first year. I'm guessing that I will probably do it about every other month at this point, or maybe once a quarter. So if you feel like you got a lot of value out of it, but you would just like a little refresher about some of the things we discuss in there, you're welcome to come back and take it the next time. So are you finally ready to make YouTube work for you and to make your videos work for you? And if you don't have any videos yet, are you ready to make some so that they can work for you? Here are all the details, the dates, the times, and the price. And I have an offer to pop up here. That should show up now on the right-hand side of your screen in the Webinar Jam window. You might have to go up to the top above the chat and click on another tab. I'm trying to remember from your perspective. I don't know if it says pop-ins or if it says offers. But try those different tabs up at the top there. And hopefully that is showing up for you. So that's what I have for today. If anybody has any questions about the program, I would be happy to answer them. Again, it starts next Thursday. So you have a little time to get ready. If you think you're interested, though, I would at least go ahead and click on that and grab the URL so that you can come back and enroll later. If you know you want to do it, then go ahead and click through there and get yourself signed up today. I look forward to seeing you in the program. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. The recording from this session hopefully will be posted by tomorrow, and you should get an email from Webinar Jam when that is ready as well. So thank you very much for attending. I've enjoyed sharing this information with you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.